All right, guys, we'll strap in. We got a long one here. This is almost a 26-minute video, and it's from Girl Power. This is the NPC and IFBB Pro Girl Power Show, and this is Kate Richenthal. And this is, if you guys haven't been watching my videos for a while, maybe you don't know this, but this gym is called Iron Religion. Here's Kayla. And there are so many shows that have been happening at this hotel. It's called the Hyatt Regency. We just had Clash here, Nationals, the Olympia. This is Girl Power. And so there's Bridget. So what I really like about this event is that this gym is so close to the host hotel that we can all kind of meet here and do some training, do a little light pump up, and then we do some posing, just get familiar with the athletes. And this is Maria Nemeth, who just started prep. And so she's actually local to Orlando. Another great thing about Florida is that we got, a lot of competitors live in this area. So this is our final pump up for our NPC and IFBB girls. They all go at the same time. Here is JoJo, and she's just getting a little blood in her shoulders. This was her second show of the season, and we'd made improvements since the first one, so I was very excited to see her on stage. But ultimately, these are competitors that, I've been working with for a considerable amount of time, and we're focused on just fine-tuning. The last day, you're not trying to build muscle, you're not trying to get burnt out. Everybody at this level, at this point, I was trying to bring food up and just make sure they stayed tight. Here's Becky Langford. And Becky's someone I'm very excited about. Amazing shape, tons of muscle. And here's Elizabeth Jensen, who hasn't competed in 4 years. Now, she's a bikini pro. She turned pro in 2017, last competed with me in 2018, has gone through a lot of changes, life, moved, and reached out to me last year and wanted to prep, and I was thrilled. She looks significantly better than she did in 2018. Leaner, fuller, and there's Steven in the background holding shop. And this is Lawna Dunbar, who, if you've been watching the videos, this is our 4th pro show of the year, and in the last 2, she had gotten 3rd. So, we at this point are fighting to get on the Olympia stage. We were really pushing food at this point. She's generally never under 250 grams of carbs, and she's constantly, refining her physique as the season goes on now, because we don't really do cardio. So she's been able to do that. Once you get lean, lots of good things happen. So this is the posing room at the gym. So that's another great thing about the Iron Religion gym. They have this kind of private posing room. It's got some overhead lighting, lots of room to sit. That's Bryn Guzman working on her posing. And this is Kate Richenthal. Now, I will say this, the lighting in this room is not flattering. So the cool thing is you get to see them in not flattering lighting. And if they look good in here, they look real good under the stage lights. So Daraja Hill was there to help me. And then once we get done with that, we head over to the check-ins. So this is the check-ins for the pro athletes. This show had pro bikini, both. I believe it had both Masters and Open. I only had competitors in the Open, and there was upwards of 30 competitors. There's J.M. Mannion, who runs NPC News Online. He does all the photography work, and he's just probably the hardest working man in the NPC when it comes to making sure that all the athletes are getting pictures and taking care. It's just remarkable how much he actually does. If you pay attention to NPC News Online, how much content they pump out from all the shows around all the world. There's Joe Pasculo, one of my favorite promoters. And here is Elizabeth getting her check-in, big smile on her face. And there's JM taking her picture. So this is just kind of a cool moment, because the only way you can be in here is if you're a pro. They separate the pro check-ins from the NPC check-ins. So it's always a thrill for me to go to these, because, when I first started coaching, I didn't have any pro competitors. It took me, a while to get level competitors on this level. So here's Lawna's always a hoot. So Lawna and Elizabeth, and I must have got a couple pictures here too. So it's just a fun way to end Friday night. And this is show day. So in the morning, the NPC competitors go first. So give you a little idea. Now, the great thing about this show is look how much backstage area there is. We have so much space to figure out where to line up. They have the pro tan in the back corner. So you got plenty of room. A lot of shows don't have this. Competitors are kind of hidden all around the venue. This is very easy to stay organized. And what I like to do when I'm back there is just keep an eye on the competitors, make sure, I know what class everyone is in, and then just make sure they're all getting lined up for their classes. I get a little bit of show day anxiety as well. I find that I'm excited for them, but I'm also making sure that they're ready to go. So this is prejudging has started, and this is the NPC Bikini division. Now this was Jesse's client, but she is a member of Pro Physique, and I thought she was looking fantastic. So it's just always exciting to see the girls on stage after you know how much work they put in. It really shows under the lights who put in the work, who's conditioned, who's got great shape, who has done their work with their posing and taken their time. And here's Kate Richenthal. This is True Novice. So for True Novice, the division is competitors who have never competed before. So this was Kate's first time on stage, and I was thrilled. She just has a great overall look to her. This is Becky Langford again. Now this is someone that I think will be a bikini pro in the not too distant future. Tons of muscle, amazing shape, stunning looking, just has the whole package. Really love the blonde and the red as well with the suit combination. Didn't place particularly well at this show, but I think we just have to tighten up the details a little bit. Here is Bridget. Bridget is another competitor who actually past weekend, she won her class. At this show, I believe she takes second. But again, we got to just be a little bit tighter in the lower body, but fantastic shape, lots of muscle, stunning to look at, just a great overall competitor. So I don't know that we got all the competitors filmed. Here's JoJo, but I did have Evan filming for me. So as much footage as he could get, that's what I wanted him to grab. So these are the earlier classes. JoJo is class A. I'm going to guess this is going to be the novice class because there does appear to be some taller competitors on the stage. So JoJo is another one that we will be getting on the national stage this year. So we're going to be focusing on making those changes. Here's Sharika Blockett, one of my Masters competitors, and she has made one of the most amazing transformations. The amount of muscle she's added and fat she's lost, the transformation that her body has made. And the thing I love most about Sharika is her attitude. She was so excited about this event and how she was looking, and we've already gotten back to work, and we're planning on doing this show again next year, bringing in a physique that is going to be competitive enough to potentially win. So once the NPC are done with their prejudging, we move right into the pros. Now I had to get this footage off of Lawna Dunbar's YouTube channel. So if you guys aren't following Lawna Dunbar, go to her YouTube channel. Her husband filmed this. I get a little too nervous to film. And Evan wasn't supposed to be filming the pros because they did have a live stream going, but her husband did film it. So this is called group comparisons. In the pros and at national shows, and even at some of the bigger regional shows, what they'll do is they'll bring the girls out first in groups so that they can kind of see how everyone looks. Then they bring them out for the individuals. Then they bring them out for call-outs. So the first thing I noticed is if you look at Lawna's right shoulder, look at the size of it compared to everybody else's. Now, Lawna and I did something different for this show. We were very aggressive with food Friday night. We had been having trouble. I think we had even gone up to 400 carbs one show and just not had the fullness that we wanted. So I decided we were going to do more carbs, fats, and sodium. We actually did a hamburger and french fries the night before as her last meal, and we nailed it. I was thrilled. I had never seen her look this full and hard on stage. So yeah, it's a moving target with peak week. It should be different every show. Your body changes as you get leaner, as you add muscle, everything changes. So after they do their group routines, they come out for their individuals. Lawna, as I said, this is our 4th pro show this season, her 5th pro show overall, and she's just very polished now, very comfortable on stage. I think, the judges, the people attending, they all respond very well to her. They love her stage presence and look, and she's just getting more and more comfortable. And that's part of becoming a pro. If you watch the girls at the Olympia, and if you watch the girls at the Arnold, there is very little to critique when it comes to their stage time, to their routine. They've gotten so much feedback from the judges. They have so much experience that they just get so good. And this is where Lawna comes up with her signature pose right here. It's this 3/4 back pose with the look over the shoulder, just stunning. And she came up with that, probably through practicing and seeing other competitors' pose. She created her own signature pose, and Daraj has done the same thing. So that's just something you learn about your body with practice, practice, practice. So, as always, the most nerve-wracking time of a pro competition or a national competition is the call-outs. So, as you can see, they got 30 girls on stage. They're pros. They're all amazing. Like, there's literally, on any day, any of these girls can come in and win a show. And there's Elizabeth all the way to the left. So I was thrilled with how Elizabeth looked. But being that it was our first show back in 4 years, I didn't have too many expectations for a placing. I just wanted her to get noticed, and I wanted to see how she compared to everybody else. Then we're going to be getting feedback, which we did. This was a couple weeks ago, and coming back better, which she's actually coming into the New York Pro, and she's looking 10 to 15% better. She's tighter, and she's going to be just a better competitor because she's got the first show out of her way. So right away, they called Jessica in first call-outs, Jessica Delias. They got Lawna in first call-outs. So right now, I'm already happy. Like, hey, cool, we got our first call-outs. Next to Lawna in the blue suit is Marcia Goncalves. And then in the purple suit, left of Marcia is Peyton, I think it's Hutton. She was in Salt Lake City in the top 4. So again, you're looking at some consistent placings here. Ashlyn Little in the blue suit has won 2 pro shows going into this, including the show on this very stage 1 month ago, the Clash. Next to her is Gabby, who is stunning, great muscle, great shape. And then on the far left is Cassandra, who won the overall at the Amateur Olympia in this same building, gosh, in December. So you've got some really, really good competitors here. So what I like to do is just kind of sit back and look and see what I see. Oh, and then all the way on the right in the green is Sierra Swan. I almost didn't see her sneak on there. So you've got 2, 4, 6, 8. So we've got 8 competitors. Now, they moved Lawna out, which at first I was bummed about. But I knew when they faced the back what was going to happen, because Lawna's glutes were super on. And what do I mean by on? They were full at the top, full at the bottom. They were tied in and tight. In fact, I had her having the best glutes on this stage on this day, which is no small feat. Now, Marcia Goncalves, who is right next to her, her glutes looked considerably smaller than the last time I saw her on stage. So here's some good news for us. We're moving in now. So we went from I believe the 5-6 position to the 3-4 position. So now we're in that center 4. So with pro judging, and even at the national shows, the more you move towards the middle, the more you're going to be in that 1, 2, 3 position. So right now, splitting center is Ashlyn Little and Jessica Delias, and they both look fantastic. So at this point, I'm just, it's coach's goggles, but I'm seeing Lawna as, just a standout in every single department, whether it comes to her glutes and shoulders, her shape, her fullness, her beauty, her stage presence. So, this is a hard job these judges have. They have to pick these girls apart and decide who goes where. And so this is where you're just hoping to hear Lawna number get called and have her get moved in. And this is where Cassandra gets moved in, Gabby gets moved out, Sierra got moved in, and Peyton got moved out. So, this is where these are little placings. These are going from, 5 to 6 to 7 or 8, so you're talking about Olympia points. You're talking about, cash. If this is Pro Bikini, so they do win money. So again, they reline them up and they have them walk to the back. Now, what they're looking for here are usually more mistakes. They're looking for things that they can critique on each competitor. Okay, what's going to make them stand out? What's going to separate them? It can be little things. I've heard feedback from, when you stepped back, I saw a wrinkle. When you came to the front, you relaxed your stomach, so your shape changed. Like, there's the tiniest little things, because you have to remember these girls they're all flawless. So trying to decide between them, you're looking at small differences. So here's where kind of lost my mind a little bit. This is Lawna getting moved to center. So she is now splitting middle with Ashlyn. So all the work we've done this year, we've never been in the middle. She started off in 7th, then she got 3rd, then she got 3rd at Salt Lake City. Then she was coming into the show, knowing that, we want to be in that top 2 that get a win. And if I'm comparing them side by side, I'm more impressed right now with Lawna's back pose. Ashlyn has a great front pose. She has excellent structure, but I didn't feel like she was very full in the glutes, like she hadn't filled out. So it just, to me, it just comes down to what the judges are going to decide this day. You know, they're, like I said, they're just trying to pick them apart little bit by little bit. So, and once your client is in the middle, all I'm thinking at this point is just please end prejudging. So here's what they did here. This was an interesting move to me because they put Jessica next to Lawna. So in my mind, they're looking at Lawna as 1 or 2, and they're looking at Jessica as 3 or 4, and Marcia as 3 or 4. So they're still going, and I promise you, this is a good thing. You don't want your clients to get up on stage, get judged quickly, and then be off stage. These judges are going to have lots of feedback, okay? They're taking their time. They're making sure they're seeing what they want to see, and this is it. This is still Lawna in the center, but at this point, I'm like, okay, just end the prejudging. Just end the prejudging, because at this point, she can only go down. The only thing that can happen now is they move her out, because she's already splitting middle. So mostly at this point, I was just excited to see. I'm sure she knew she was pretty close to the middle, and she probably knew she was in the middle, so I've also seen some girls get nervous, but she doesn't. She holds her poses. You see some of the girls fidgeting. She's holding absolutely still, and that can be important too. The judges are looking up. Sometimes they will make a decision based on, you know, who's shaking, who looks more comfortable. All right, so just like they normally do, they brought the top 4 out, top 6 out, top 5 out, whatever it is. The final call out of prejudging at all the pro shows I've been to this year has been the girls that were in the mix to win the show. So what we know now for sure is that Lawna is top 4, which is great because she has been top 3 at the last 2 shows. You know, our goal at these shows is always to be in this final comparison, hopefully moving towards the middle. You know, the only thing that stood out to me out of this group was that, like I said, Marcia's glutes were not as big as I recalled them being. So I did expect her to move out. Now, I was hoping that they would move Lawna back in where Jessica's at, right? Because Jessica looked good, Lawna looked good. They actually are kind of very similar. They both have great shape, great muscle, obviously blonde and brunette, but they're both wearing red suits. So, you know, Jessica has great depth to her glutes. Lawna's glutes have a little bit more like length to them, so they're both very full in the glute area. So I thought the battle for this show was between 2nd and 3rd. I thought they had clearly made a point that Ashlyn was going to be winning because she had not moved out of the middle, and they had multiple other girls in the middle, and that's just usually what happens. But this is how we end prejudging, and then we get ready for finals. And I got a little trick up my sleeve for finals. I love to take my competitors to go eat a nice big meal and then do a little pump up after prejudging. So that's exactly what we did. We went out and had a big meal. I believe on this show, we all went to Chipotle. And then another great thing about this Hyatt is that the gym is just so well equipped that we were able to go in the gym, get a little workout in. The idea here was like, we're eating a bunch of food, we're taking in some fluids. So the goal is to make sure that that food and those fluids are moving to the muscles that we're training them. So it's always a little odd to see a competitor in full makeup with a tan in a gym setting. And here's Elizabeth. We were just getting some glutes pumped up for this one too, because ultimately I just want them to come back a little bit better at finals. We can test some things out and we can learn from it, and that's exactly what we did. That's how we came up with this idea to give Lawna a burger and fries the night before, was because she had looked so good after her shows. So then we head back to finals. So at finals, we're going to go straight into the awards. You know, I wasn't quite sure. I thought she was going to be 3rd. I thought she could be as high as 2nd, but I also thought she could be 4th or 5th just based on how they were moving people around. So I wasn't quite certain. So here is Cassandra, who placed 6th. Again, I don't know if this was her pro debut, but it's definitely one of her first pro shows, if not her pro debut. And she had turned pro. She was from Mexico. She had turned pro at the Amateur Olympia in Orlando. So you could tell the joy on her face at her pro debut. And she's, you know, very talented competitor, got a bright future. Sierra Swan, who was on the Olympia stage, taking 5th. And then Marcia Goncalves, who was one of the most winningest bikini pros of all time, getting 4th. So that means I knew Lawna was at least 3rd, if not 2nd. anytime you beat a competitor like Marcia Goncalves, you're doing something. Yeah, so I was very proud of Lawna. Lawna has really been showing up and doing very well at the highest level of the sport. So 3 consecutive third places for Lawna. An amazing show for all my amateurs. You know, we got some placings we liked, we got some placings we didn't like, but ultimately all the girls got back to work and we're coming in to get better. And the week after this show, I'm headed to Pittsburgh, and the week after that, Junior USA. So congrats to Lawna. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And thanks, Lawna and Eric, for the video. We appreciate it.